My first night ever in the bush in Tanzania was probably one of the scariest of my life. As I was walking towards this field camp I was going to be staying in, I was thinking, God, I've never stayed right there in the bush in a lion sort of rich area before, so I hope it's going to be okay. And I walk up and I see these tents, but instead of being on the ground as I'd feared, they were up on these big platforms. And I thought, oh, that's so much better than I thought. So I climb up onto the platform and a guy comes out and he says, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Your tent's over there. And I thought, oh, no. But I look across and about 200 meters away, I see another platform. And I was like, yes. So I start walking over to the platform. About halfway over there, I trip over this tiny little, like, one-man pup tent. And I ignore it. I think it must be a store tent or something. So I keep walking towards the second tent. And I get up to it and I climb up onto the platform. And a guy comes out and he says, oh, did you miss your tent? And I was like, oh, that is my tent. And so I very dejectedly walk back to this tent. And it's fine. It's exactly as I was expecting. But now the fact that everyone else is on raised platforms makes me feel like bait. So I think I've got to be sensible. I'm a big cat biologist. So I shove my little mattress in there and I'm trying to be all brave. And so I'm lying in there. It's getting dark. And I start to hear lions call. And they're roaring to and from. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, I'm scared. And then the next moment, it's a full moon night. I hear crackle, crackle, crackle. And out steps this huge male lion into this little clearing where the tent is. He walks up and he starts pacing around the tent and sniffing it. And it's a new object in his environment. He's just being curious. But I am terrified. I'm trying to just lie there and be as still as I can. But I think I'm not going to stay here and be eaten. So I reach into my bag as slowly as I can. And I try to think I must have something I can use. And I pull out my multi-tool. And I take out this 3-inch blade. And I think, okay, if he comes in, I'm going to cut his throat. And I look up to the left and he's here and I can see this huge shaggy mane. And I think there's no chance of me cutting his throat. And so I reach back into the bag and I start to find anything else I can find. And I pull out my deodorant spray. And I was like, right, if he comes in, he is in for a world of pain. I'm going to blind him in the eyes with a deodorant and then stab him in the throat. It's going to be all over. And of course, I know, obviously, that if he does come in, if he happens to slash open the tent and come in, he is going to eat me, be found the next day very happy and full, and he's going to have tiny little nicks on his face and be smelling of spring fresh deodorant. And so, but it made me feel better. And then suddenly he becomes really close and he leans against the tent. And both he and I jump because I think he didn't expect it to be, a movable object. It might have been a warm rock or anything. And then the next thing, he moves back again and he slumps right the way down the side of the tent. And this is a small tent and a big lion. And so he's crushing my entire left side and I'm pushed right up against the side of the tent now. And I'm lying there and he's lying on my left hand and arm. So I've lost my multi-tool, which is really the most important of the two weapons. Now I'm left with just the deodorant spray, which by itself, not that good for fending off lions. And I'm there and he's, lying there for ages. And finally I hear this. I think he's asleep. Are you kidding? He's fallen asleep. He is fast asleep and he is radiating heat. I can smell him. I can feel him, obviously. And it's getting so hot in this tent. I think I'm going to die of heat exhaustion. I thought, my God, they're going to find me dead in the morning and with nothing to show why this whole thing happened. But finally, I think out of sheer terror or adrenaline or whatever, I fell asleep myself because the next thing I know, it's morning and, the bright sunlight, the tent's gone back to its normal shape. And I think, did I dream that? And I look down into my hands and I'm still holding my multi-tool and my deodorant spray. I think that was not a dream. And very carefully look around and I can see padded lion prints all around the tent and this big smooth area where he slept. So we went back in and spoke to the other guys. And after that, we called it the death tent. And I got to sleep up on a platform. But it was certainly a good initiation.